Director. That guy should be fired. He's done a bad job.
As Tom Brenneman pointed out a couple of days ago, when is the last time you can remember two out-of-division teams playing 8 times? 2 4-game series. The Reds and Phillies play 8 games this year.
Do they really?
Here's what and it's a great point.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that. And, every once in a while, Nick Kern, our technical czar, if you don't pay him attention, he just hits a soundbite to remind us that he's here.
The voice of the night.
He's very hard. Yes, attaboy. He's very hard. He's a high-maintenance guy. Actually, he's not. You know that. He's a great kid. Yeah, it is interesting. Well, I wonder why that came about. Do we know why? Why did they do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. You know, maybe it's because that those were 2 teams that duked it out in round 1 of the playoffs last year, and they continue to seemingly every time they play very competitive games.
There is drama, yeah.
I heard that last year that the story was that the Reds lose 2 games in Philly by a run, and 2 of them were 1-0 games.
Wow.
So that they continue to have very good games, and it's unfortunately the Reds weren't able to get it done last night, and they've hit a little bit of a rut right now, and so the Cardinals have taken advantage of that, but that's why they play 162, right? Love
visiting with Matt Andrews with us here for the play-by-play voice of the Bats. You know what? You'd be a good guy to comment on this because I know you love your job. But it's still, I love pizza too, but I don't want to eat it 7 times a day. And, and the baseball season's a long season, and I really wanted to see the Reds win. But there was a part of me that was really rooting for Valdez when he came in because those are the games that, put a little, they take you out of the rut of the whole regular season. I mean, after 19 innings, here's a guy who's played 18 innings in the field. He comes in to pitch. I mean, it was a pretty good bit of drama right there.
Yeah, you see that a lot here. Well, you don't see it a lot here. You see it more so here than you do in the big leagues. There was a game a couple of years ago where the Bats, Michael Griffin and Luis Bolivar went back-to-back scoreless innings and picked up a win and a save for Louisville.
I do remember that. That's right.
And so it's something that you will see more frequently in the minors because of lack of pitchers. And clearly, Dusty didn't have any pitching left. Apparently, LeCure couldn't heat up, and Maloney hadn't been stretched 2 days before. And naturally, after that long night last night in Philadelphia and into this morning, they're going to turn around like we did in Rochester after that 18-inning game earlier this month and play a day game today in Philadelphia.
Proving that the God has a sense of humor. And did you know this, by the way? I don't know if it's changed, but we were talking about scheduling. The guy who was wasn't he the president of the National League or president of the Giants or somebody, Chubb Feeney? His daughter, as frequently, you stay in the family business, she became an executive in Major League Baseball. And I had her on the national show, and she told me that, think about this, the scheduling that they do for Major League Baseball is done all by hand. Did you know that?
I did not. I do know that the International League scheduling is done by hand.
I would have thought there's a program, you push a button, and bloop, here come the games, and out you go. But
you put down your mandate games and the games you can't be home. For instance, Louisville, and obviously we're comparing Major League to International League, but Louisville can never be home during the Derby, and they always want to be home for Thunder. Indianapolis is never home for the 500, and there are certain dates. But I know Dave Rosenfield, the long time, and as in 50-year general manager of the Norfolk Tides, I think still does the International League schedule. And our own Dale Owens here used to do the schedule, I believe, when they were in the American Association, and he says it is not a bit of fun.
I can't imagine. I really can't. I mean, I've run some intramural leagues, and I don't have to worry about conflicts with Thunder and Indy 500.
But, Bob, you were so good on that bocce tournament of just pairing 1 and 8 and doing. I mean, you do it in your sleep like it's nothing.
Come on.
The clock.
All those years small college sports where you learn to do that kind of stuff. Talking to Matt Andrews, the voice of the Bats, they are back in town. It is SWB.
Finally.
Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Yeah, welcome home, dude. Getting ready to play, 4 games against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and then Syracuse comes in next week. We got some tickets to give away as well. What's the status of the team now? You got some guys coming and going. Tell us some of the interesting storylines. Todd Frazier and Edison Volquez, and give us a little bit of the update.
Yeah, Monday was about as crazy as I can recall here in my 9 years. We're in Norfolk. We knew there were going to be some moves. Todd Frazier got the call Sunday night. He heads up there. His agent tweets that he's going to the big leagues. And so there was a lot of speculation. That was just the start of it. There were 7 or 8 moves directly affecting Louisville that day from the Reds and guys going on the DL and free agents signed. And so Justin Lear has joined this team. Of course, he was the pitcher of the year in this league 2 years ago. He had Tommy John surgery a year ago, almost to the day. He's been at Double-A, and now he's with this team. Steven Jackson, they signed him. He's been in the Dodgers system. Dontrell Willis is on the disabled list.
Oh, what happened to him?
He's got a left thigh injury. And
he was pitching so well, too. That's a shame.
He was. He took a comebacker. Let's see, it was the day he pitched in Norfolk Saturday. Comebacker off his leg, and so he's out for a little bit. It's a 7-day DL in the minors. Of course, Maloney went up. You have Frazier up and now back. They've optioned Volquez, who is scheduled to start here Saturday, or at least that's the last I saw. They've also sent back Jordan Smith. Matt Maloney is in the big leagues and, of course, has pitched, as we said. So there's been a lot of movement, a lot of change here, and you kind of wonder with how that they and you sort of saw it coming when they dropped their 4th, 5th, 6th in a row. You anticipated a move, but everything kind of hit at once on Monday. Now, Aroldis Chapman is here on a Major League rehab assignment as well, and he'll pitch, or he's scheduled to pitch. The last I heard, he was going to throw tonight, and then he'll pitch again on Sunday if the plan holds. And he pitched the first inning in Norfolk on Monday night and threw 8 pitches, 6 were strikes, faced him 1, 2, 3. So there's a lot going on, a big homestand. The Bats have played 16 of 20 on the road, and after yesterday's off day, their first in 3 weeks, they're excited to be home for 10 starting tonight.
Matt Andrews with us, the play-by-play voice of the Louisville Bats. I really enjoy, you and I visited about this privately. I mean, Marty Brenneman, we had him on the show last week, and he's just as good an interview as he is to listen to do play-by-play. And, he's not afraid to give an opinion on the air, and I don't think he's bashing guys, but, I mean, Jonny Gomes is a guy that's probably not in their long-range plans. He's not played especially well. Left field has not been a great spot for them. Todd Frazier's played. I mean, what more can they ask of the guy? I'm not asking you to second-guess the organization, but Marty kind of questioned it. Why wouldn't he get a good long look up there in left field? I mean, they brought him up for half a cup of coffee and right back down. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, I think they like Heisey a lot. I certainly do, and I think that Heisey and Lewis are two guys that could platoon. There's that word again, in left field. If Gomes continues to struggle, something tells me, and I don't know, but I get the feeling, as Gomes seems to do this every year at some point, that he's gonna break out and eventually get back to where we expected him to be. The weird part of this all is that Frazier, who there's not a nicer guy, and really happy for him to go up, but he has not even played the majority of left field here this year. It's been Alonso in left field. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think, though, that they want Frazier to play every day also. And, Francisco is here, and maybe he would have been the guy to go back. But they had a 10-day clause. When the option comes, you've got to be down for 10 unless of an injury. So it's too bad for Todd that he only went up for that one game. He'll be back, but it was kind of neat that he was in Philly, close to his New Jersey home, and he had all of his Tom's River clan there. And what a story, though. 4 pitches. Clearly the strikeout was a little bit of a downer, but to lose his bat into the stands in that first at-bat and doing it near home, that's pretty cool.
I think he did that on purpose. That's where his family was sitting. He said, here's a souvenir coming your way.
Knowing Todd, he might have.
And I was going to ask you about that because, we saw Heisey here, of course, and Marty was making that point, too, that isn't it time to give this guy a good long look out there? And you'd already talked about him. He's been successful in what I think is one of the hardest jobs in the game as a pinch hitter. And so how do you think he'll do if he gets an extended run as the left fielder here?
Well, I would think that he would put up numbers similar to, or I would think he would put up numbers better than what Gomes has done. His pinch hitting numbers are absolutely out of this world. And he's done that, as you said, in the toughest of situations. I can't imagine. That's got to be one of the most difficult aspects in all of sport, don't you think?
Oh, my gosh.
To compete
one at bat, and usually it's an important at bat. It's here you go, sit here for 2.5 hours. Now get up there and go win the game for us.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see him succeeding in that role. But again, would they let him go against righties and lefties, or would he be platooning with Lewis? Lewis has done a good job. Fred Lewis, the signee of the Reds in the offseason from the Giants. So, yeah, it's they need to get more production out of that left field spot and offensively from shortstop. And you just hate to push the panic button because, as we said, Bob, it's such a long season. But what is the Cardinal lead? 3.5 now, 4.5 maybe on the Reds. And in fact, I think Milwaukee has surpassed Cincinnati. But isn't it weird how last year the Reds couldn't beat the Cardinals and went on to just blow away the division. And now that they have come off of a sweep against St. Louis, the Cardinals have run off to the 3.5-game division lead. It's really bizarre.
All right, well, we will be listening for you, my friend, and maybe get out to the ballpark and say hello in person. I wish you would talk to the powers that be so I could do a game with you again. That seems to be the most infantile the debate going on. But nonetheless, considering I do the Louisville games on that station, do they not notice that? Anyway.
Check us out tonight, 6:35. Tickets open, Budweiser Happy Hour, long homestand. And the Bats will need your support.
Yep, we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Bobby.
Right now,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. They would still be a wild card team, by the way. I want to point that out. Even though they are 6 games behind Columbus in the division, they would be the wild card. So they're still having a very good year, Louisville, and obviously a big homestand here. If they manage to get through that road trip at 500, that's not so bad. You go 500 on the road, then you got to start kicking some baseball hiney when you get back home. So we'll see how they can do tonight. We got a lot more to come here on the V Show on ESPN Radio. Stick around.